or the show me the money part, because honestly, we all do this to make a living for our families, to provide for what we want and what we need. All right, not saying we don't enjoy our jobs, but let's be honest, that's why we do what we do. Driving with John is coming through. Hey everybody, welcome to Driving with John vlog. All right guys, so today is going to be a 3-load vlog. So it started in Ohio, went from Ohio to Illinois, from Illinois to Kentucky, and then Kentucky back to Illinois. So that's the 3-day vlog. As you can see, this is the road footage. You can play the Name That Road game right now. Watch the video as you're watching this footage. If you figure out what road and what state I'm in, then feel free to put it in the comment section. The first person that gets it right, I will pin your comment to the top. After you put the state and the road, you can put whatever you want. Promote your channel, tell everybody to have a great day. Whatever you want to say, as long as it follows YouTube guidelines, I will allow it in there. So, all right, let's get on with the video. So this was a 3-day vlog because as I was running it, like I said, I went from Illinois to Kentucky and then from Kentucky back to Illinois. Actually, the same shippers and receivers on both, and it didn't make sense to split that up, so I just included it on the vlog. So we have all 3 days, and this is the road footage. Somewhere on those travels is this road. So, all right, guys. Before I get started on the talking about the numbers of this vlog, I do want to talk about something that's kind of important to me. All right. So, as a truck driver, if you're new getting into trucking or you're not a trucker yet, you don't understand this quite as much, but you will eventually. I promise you, it's something you're going to probably run into. Depending on what company you work for and what type of freight you haul, there's a lot of things that go into it. But when I started as a reefer driver, I ran into this problem. And with my new company, I also run into this problem. So basically, long story short is, you're going to work some crazy hours. And what I mean by that is, you're going to get up one day at 3 a.m., you're going to drive until 2 p.m., you're going to park. The next day, you might start at 7 a.m., drive all day, get done, let's say 5 p.m. But then your next load doesn't pick up until the next day, somewhere like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So now you're on the extended break until 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and now you're running overnight and sleeping the daytime the next day. Your schedule, guys, your schedule. As a trucker, depending on who you work for and what kind of freight you haul, like I said, that all depends, but that is going to sometimes make your schedule literally flip a 24-hour cycle within a day or two. There are days that I run exclusively nights, and within 2 days I'm running exclusively days. Now, how do you do that? That's not an easy process. That's something I'm getting used to now, but I'll be honest, there's still times it's tough. You know, when you flip to nights, that I guess they used to call it the witching hour, whatever, from like 3 a.m. to like 5 a.m. just before the sun comes up. It's the hardest time. It's really hard. And there's a lot of things I could tell you to help you get past that. You know, snack food, 5-hour energy. I don't do Monsters or any of those energy drinks, but I do 5-hour energies. It's a vitamin B boost. Things like that really help. Listening to music that's upbeat, making sure that your temperature is not too hot, because if it is, it will make you tired, or if it's too cold, it can make you tired. You want to make sure that you're comfortable, but not overheated or over chilled. So those are some tips to stay awake in those times. It's going to happen. Like, especially when you first come into trucking, when I ran reefer, it happened to me a lot. But as the new company, what I do is a lot of like partial loads, just dropping hooks, stuff like that. And the hours are strange because I'll go like a week or two and I'll be working exclusively daytime hours. And then all of a sudden it'll flip-flop within a, 24 to 36 hour period, and I'll be working exclusively nights for a couple of nights. And then it'll flip-flop again, and I'll be working days for a day or two. And it just flips-flops back and forth. Some people can't handle that schedule. If that's something you can't handle, make sure you don't get that job. But if it's something you can handle, there are tips that you can use. During the day, it's not so much of a problem. You can, call your buddy on the phone, use your wireless to do it, and call your buddy on the phone and chit chat while you're driving. That'll help you stay awake a lot of times, keeps your mind busy. For me, and this isn't true for everybody, every driver is a little different. For me, music doesn't work. Once in a while, I'll get on a music kick where it will work, but most of the time it doesn't. For me, it's more of like a podcast or something I can listen to in the background, not watch, obviously, but listen to, that will stimulate my mind. Could be about trucking, could be about money, could be, I'm a Christian, so I listen to a lot of Christian podcasts, things like that, things that stimulate your mind, that make you not think about being tired, that your mind's energized and processing the entire time. That is a huge help for me. I use that a lot. So I thought I'd include that in on this vlog because it's important. In trucking, you have to realize that you don't have a set schedule. Those people that work, 9 to 5 jobs, they don't understand what we do. They have no idea the sacrifices that we make in our sleep schedule, in our lives, in our families' lives. Yes, it's all sacrifices that we chose to do. So I'm not saying that you need to go out and praise me for it or tell me that I'm great for doing my job. But if you're going to come into this industry, you need to have a full understanding of what you're getting yourself into. So on this vlog, I want to talk about, driving and flip-flopping schedules. But for the next couple of vlogs, I'm going to talk about different aspects of coming into trucking that you need to work on and that you need to know that you're getting yourself into. So, all right, so let's get on with the rest of the vlog. So I started in Ohio, went up to Illinois, picked up a load, ran down to Kentucky. Now on the first leg of that load, it was a little more difficult because not from Ohio to Illinois. That was an easy load. But from Illinois down to Kentucky, I ran into some issues. First issue was I got there, backed into the door, everything was checked through fine, but I sat there. Now in dry van, which is what I haul, it's very unusual to sit there more than an hour and a half. I sat there 2.5 hours. Finally, I went in and I'm, letting them know, hey, what's going on here? Something's not right. I'll be honest, I was editing a video and lost track of time. Probably would have complained before that, but, So I went in to complain, and I found out that first they tried to blame me for being late, but I wasn't late. I knew I wasn't. I had logged my time properly, proved I wasn't late. But I overheard the conversation that the guy had with the forklift driver, where the forklift driver literally said, oh man, we forgot that guy. Tell him we'll have him loaded in a half an hour. They forgot I was... I have a fly in my truck. I hate that. They forgot I was sitting there. So they took them about a half an hour, and they had me fully loaded, and I was out of there. The problem with that is the loads I run are very time sensitive. Like, I have a lot of loads that I can't stop along the way. Literally, I have just enough time to drive from point A to point B. No stopping. Make sure you fuel before you get to load. Okay, I hate when I have a fly in my truck. It's one of my biggest irritations. It just flew in front of my face. So on this load, because of that 2.5 hour wait, I called ahead of time. I'm like, look guys, I'm not going to make this delivery on time. It's not going to be possible. They said, well, just get there as quick as you can. So I did. I was actually about an hour and a half when I started running late. When I got there, it was only a half hour late. I thought that was pretty impressive, actually. But they got me unloaded, and everything was done there. But because that happened, I actually got bumped off my next load because it was another tight load, and I couldn't have made the pickup, so they bumped me off of it. So the next morning, actually no. So after they bumped me off of that, then they couldn't find me a load right away, and I ended up putting in a not voluntary, not needed 34-hour reset. Picked up in the next load, and it actually picked up in the same place I delivered, and then went to the same place I picked up from originally, back up in Illinois. So that's the long and the short of this trip. As you can hear, it was a little bit of chaos in the middle, but we got through it all. A 3-leg thing. So now let's talk about the numbers, because you know what? Half of you people out there that watch this channel, I'm talking about you watch this channel to find out the numbers. So let's talk about the numbers, all right? Let's get to it. All right, before I talk about numbers, I gotta say something. I just saw something on the video as I'm making this I want to tell you about. So for anybody that notices things, stupid fly. For anybody that notices things, you might have noticed this. So I'll explain to you what that is, okay? It's my wedding band. You know, I have a beautiful wedding band that matches my wife's, and I love her very much, and she is the person that makes me able to do what I do. She makes me a better man. So, but the reason why the rubber band's on there, just so that you know, is I've actually recently lost a whole bunch of weight, and the rubber band's on there because the ring was getting too loose. So if you see this on any of my videos, you know why it's there. I'm not going to explain it ever again, so you had to see it on this video to know. So if you ever watch a video in the future and someone makes a comment about it, you can correct them. I'm not going to. So let's get to the numbers. All right, on these loads, I should say, I ran this many miles. All right. Then it took me this long. Now remember, those numbers are what they are because I ran 3 days instead of 2. And if you figure all that out for average miles per hour, because I do that so that I know what I run, this load, honestly, figuring those numbers isn't really going to help me very much. I usually do it load per load, but I'll do it so that you guys can see. My average miles per hour were right here. All right, so now if you take those paid miles that I already showed you, if you take those paid miles and you times it by how much you make per mile, you'll find out how much you made on that 3-day, 3-load. Actually, it was technically 3.5 day because of the 34-hour reset load thing. All right, so let's say you're making 45 cents a mile. All right, we'll start with 45 cents a mile. With all those paid miles, that's what you would have made. Or 50 cents a mile, that's what you would have made. 55 cents a mile, 60 cents a mile, 65 cents a mile, 70 cents a mile, 75 cents a mile, 80 cents a mile, and I think I'm going to stop there. Now, I don't normally do this in my videos, but I want to point out something to you guys. The difference between the first number and the last number is experience and clean record, okay? So if you have no experience or you have a really bad driving record, you're not going to get the higher numbers. You have to clean your record up. You have to get your experience in order to get those numbers. But just so that you can see the difference between 40 cents a mile and 80 cents a mile is 40 cents per mile. And the difference between those two is this. That's how much more you're going to make at 80 cents a mile compared to 40 cents a mile. Stupid fly. Ah! So I just wanted to point that out because the disparity is quite large, and you don't realize. Okay, this fly is irritating the heck out of me, and it's going to ruin my vlog. You don't realize how much of an effect it has. Now, if you're going to be paid hourly, it's a little different because hourly doesn't matter how many miles you run, and the hourly number I'm going to give you is just my driving time. But technically, when you're paid hourly, you're paid from a time to a time. In other words, if you start at 8 in the morning and you're working until 5, and then you take out a little bit of a lunch, that's your hourly pay. But I don't know how to do that with the way I run. So I just give you my driving time times by the hours I ran. And if you did that at $30 an hour, you would have made this. Now, granted, that's not 100% accurate, because when you're running hourly, it's a little different. You're paid for on-duty time, you know, all that kind of stuff. So just thought I'd mention that. So that's the long and the short, the skinny, the everything in between. Don't forget the road game, guys. Make sure that you tell me what road this is all around me right here. And I hope you enjoyed the show me the money part, because honestly, we all do this to make a living for our families, to provide for what we want and what we need. All right, not saying we don't enjoy our jobs, but let's be honest, that's why we do what we do. Guys, I appreciate you watching. To all my trucking buddies out there, keep your rubber on the road, keep those tires turning, stay right side up. To all my non-trucking buddies out there, subscribers, followers, trucking wannabes, new truckers, old truckers, everybody, guys, let's remember, truckers are people too. So be nice to us. See you on the next video.